There seems to be confirmation now that the Winter Games will not be taking place in that ski resort. And Neom, building on from some of our own reporting a couple of months ago, what were the reasons cited?
So I think the same problems we've seen across all the gigaprojects, so not all of them, but certainly many of them, where they start with this hugely ambitious vision. They start building, they realise there's going to be massive cost overruns, in some cases, just in terms of the topography and the engineering required to do it, they can't do it in time. So we knew that we're sort of running into issues around this because, again, this is an incredibly ambitious project to build basically a ski resort in the middle of the desert. And yes, temperatures do drop there in the winter. Yes, there is some natural snow, but ultimately they were going to have to build this 3-kilometre-long lake to provide the water for the artificial snow. And I just don't think they could do it in time. So I think the real surprise here is that they've postponed it. We knew as of several months ago they were talking to China, they were talking to Korea to see if they could swap the dates. But this looks like they've just postponed it, at least for now.
Postponed or abandoned?
I think, the language is postponed. They said they're still going to do some winter games, and there is already infrastructure there. They have started building. So with a few more years, maybe they can do a scaled-back project. Yeah. But ultimately, like all these giga projects, they're kind of stack ranking them in terms of priority and importance.
Yeah, I will say I was on a panel last week at the World Economic Forum, and I spoke to the finance minister, I spoke to the Minister of Economy and Planning, and there does seem to be an evolution of some sorts of Saudi 2030. It's been almost 10 years to the day that it was launched. And what they will say is they started out full throttle, and now they're really a lot more focused on execution and almost fine-tuning the spending and where it's going in the economy. So perhaps these types of re-evaluations of some of those more ambitious projects are what we can expect in the next year or so.
No, and they've had praise for that. If you look at what the big international banks are saying, you look at what the IMF and the World Bank are saying, they are getting praise for being just pragmatic. There isn't an infinite pool of money. They have their priorities, and those priorities have changed over the last decade, and so it's natural that they evolve with them. Nonetheless, if you agree to do something in advance and then you can't deliver on it, that is certainly awkward. But again, you can absolutely see the way they're thinking and what they need to prioritise right now.